Is my voice clear? You can write it in the chat box to confirm that. So this is a great orientation session for MPSC Engineer Manager 2026 examination post, right, guys? So we'll be in this session, we'll be dealing with the analysis of this exam, the syllabus required, and how you have to prepare, what should be our strategy for this exam, right? All right, all right. I'm audible, right? So guys, in this session, we are going to discuss a very important thing about a very important exam, MPSC Assistant Engineer, right? So guys, recently the government has announced the vacancies regarding this post of Assistant Engineer cum Manager 2026. So it's a great opportunity for all the students who are preparing, who are actually belonging to the streams of electrical, civil, and all the other streams, right? So guys, if we analyze the paper in this session, we are going to discuss what should be our idealistic approach for this paper, how should we approach this paper, and what all subjects are important. So myself, Amit, I am your general studies faculty. I'll be taking your general studies subjects, right? So in this session, I'll be briefing you about all the important areas that you need to cover while preparing for this exam, which will be helpful. And we will be covering the topics and all the important areas to make it a very simple, simple way to approach this exam, right? What would be the simplest way to approach this exam? What all subjects you need to require for this exam, and how should you approach each and every subject? In this particular session, we'll be discussing that, right? So guys, first of all, I'll be starting with the exam pattern. What is the exam pattern of this particular exam? So basically, there are two sections, section 1 and section 2, right? First section consists of general ability paper, right, for 200 marks. Time allotted for this paper is 2 hours, right? 2 hours, right? Then you have civil engineering paper 1 for 200 marks for 2 hours, civil engineering paper 2 for 2 hours, or the respective streams you belong to, right? Then second part contains conventional paper of respective streams, 200 marks each, right? So guys, if you observe the non-tech part, in this session, we'll be looking at the non-tech part. Non-tech part consists of two particular areas, general English and general awareness section. Okay? All right, guys. So I'll be dealing with the general studies part. So I'll be the faculty who will be taking your general studies. So what are the important areas that you need to cover while preparing for this exam? So if we analyze the general studies portion, so general studies portion consists of many subjects, guys, right? But we don't need to study all of them, and in what order we should study, right? That is the most important part for this exam, correct? So our main aim in this session is to maximize our marks. What should be the strategy to maximize our marks in general studies in this particular exam, right? So general studies paper consists of, as per syllabus, it is mentioned that everything which is happening in day to day is important, plus a special mention of geography and history is there, right? So everything that is happening day to day, it includes various subjects day to day. What all topics are included in this day to day general studies section, right? So for this day to day thing, you need to study current affair. Current affairs. So the biggest question of students in this particular section is, sir, how much current affair we need to study for this exam? So for this exam, to crack and to score good, at least try to cover 8 to 12 months current affair. 8 to 12 months. It is important, right? Both for state as well as you have to cover both the current affairs. One is for state and other is for national. You have to cover both the current affairs, right? Second thing that we need to study is basically special mention is history. History. How much history, sir, we need to study? What all topics are there? I'll be discussing in the later hour. Correct? Then we need to study geography, right? Then we need some basic static GK. Static GK. I'll tell you what all the topics been included in static GK and general science, right? since we have decoded the syllabus, there is a clear mention in the syllabus about history, geography, state and national affairs, current affairs, I mean, static GK and general science, right? To be very specific, if you go through the syllabus, guys, so you will see in the syllabus mention about general studies. The paper in general studies will include the knowledge of current events and of such matter as of everyday observation and experience in their scientific aspect as may be expected to an educated person. They have written this statement. This statement includes, if we decode it, there are many similar exams on this particular line. So when we have seen the PYQs of this particular exam and other exam as to it, we found a very common thing about common subjects. So these subjects, they came out to be common. We need to study anyhow, right? If you study these subjects, there are very good chance that in a month or two, you will be able to score at least 75 to 80% marks in general studies, which is pretty hard. Why general studies is important, guys? In this session, I'll be telling you that. Since there is a limit of technical preparation, there is a limit to score in English. So general studies is only the section which will fetch you marks at this cutthroat competition, right? So it will give you an extra advantage. It will give you an extra edge if you prepare for this subject. And my personal duty for you is I'll make these subjects very easy. And since you are technical students, I'll be making sure that these subjects are well covered in detail, starting from very basics. Okay, we'll be covering these subjects starting from grassroots level 2 and we'll build up the respective levels, right? Coming on to the other analysis, if we observe previous year paper, I've analyzed previous year papers and I've found one thing very common in this particular paper. I'll be discussing those points which were very common. Like number one, what was the nature of questions? Nature of questions regarding general studies in this exam. Nature of questions. What is the nature of questions? General studies. I am writing general studies in short, GS, right? So nature of questions were very direct and factual. Question number one. Questions in your exam was very direct and factual. Direct and factual. Then there were many questions regarding match the following. Match the following. So we will practice a lot in this pattern. All right. So that you will be familiar with this pattern. Then there were pretty questions from, if you'll analyze the paper, the difficulty level was from easy to moderate. Easy to moderate difficulty level, right? So this was the nature of questions. Second thing that I would like to tell you about this paper is syllabus depth analysis. What was the depth that was covered in this particular exam? What was the depth of syllabus that has been covered in this exam? Syllabus depth analysis. So major focus areas as we consider syllabus are Indian polity. There were questions from Indian polity. Indian polity. There were questions from economy. There were questions from modern history. There were questions from ancient history, Jainism and Buddhism, to be specific, right? And guys, there were pretty good questions from geography.
Geography.
Yes, geography, there were many questions. Then there were questions from science and tech, both general and advanced. General and advanced, right? Then there were questions from computer basics. Don't worry, guys, we'll be covering each and every topic in this batch, right? Computer basics. There were questions from agriculture. Few questions were there, but there were, right? So we can cover it in geography as well. Then there were questions from current affair. Okay. So if we analyze the PYQs, guys, the basic syllabus that is mentioned by the commission and the type of questions they have given, right? In the syllabus, they have written it very clearly that they will be considering each and every topic that is related to day-to-day life, right? Plus special mention of history and geography. But when it comes to the question, if you'll analyze the paper, these all areas has been covered in the paper very intensively. There were many questions of Indian polity. There were many questions of economy. There were many questions from modern history, current affair, ancient history, geography, science tech, and computer basics as well, right? Computer, you had to go through, we'll take 2-3 classes and we'll try to finish the computer topic, because the computer basic questions were asked. Very, very basic questions were asked. So in-depth computers details are not required. As far as science and technology is concerned, the questions were very general. There were many questions from biology. There were many questions from chemistry as well. Plus, there were many questions from nanotechnology, nuclear technology, advanced technology, right? Very attached towards current affairs. So these all topics were covered in PYQs, previous year papers, if you'll go through it. Now, guys, there's a very good question that we can ask to ourselves, that what should be our idealistic preparation strategy for this exam, right? As far as GS is concerned, right? So what is the preparation strategy that we should adopt? Preparation strategy that we should adopt. Let us see, guys. So how should we approach the exam? How should we approach the exam? Okay. First of all, you had to allocate the dedicated time for general studies. Time allocation, number one. Time allocation. Guys, you cannot take general studies just like that, right? You have to take it very seriously. You have to cover the topics, because it is going to eventually help you out in the exam, right? Our main aim is how much we can cover by putting the less effort, right? So that our return of investment of time should be best, right? For example, if we are giving 2 hours daily for general studies, we want ourselves to score at least 80% in the exam. Then our time would be best utilized, correct? So in this session, I am here to help you out how to cover the general studies in least time allotted, right? So guys, we are starting a batch specially for you guys, so that you don't have to browse through books and you shouldn't be doomed about how to approach this exam. So we will be covering all the topics that are mentioned in the syllabus very intensively, following with the PYQ pattern, and there will be a practice batch as well, right? So that your preparation should be as impactful as possible, right? So first, what you have to do is time allocation. You should allocate sufficient time for preparation of general studies. Second, you had to make short notes, right? Short notes. See, all the class notes that I'll be taking in the classes will be provided to you by Pankaj sir. And apart from notes, there is no need to consult any other study material or source, right? You don't have to go to any textbook for general studies. So I'll be covering all the topics that much in detail that it will be sufficient for your exam. If you'll go through all the classes and you'll revise the notes, it will be sufficient. So third thing is revision. You have to plan your strategy for revision. Revision. All right, guys? Right? Now, we'll discuss the sub parts of the topics, the sub part of the syllabus that you need to focus on. For example, current affair. Guys, you have to focus on both national affairs as well as state current affair, okay? So regular classes for current affair will be running. You should attend all the classes. That will be sufficient for your exam. Second thing is geography. Geography has 3 parts: Indian geography, physical geography, and human geography. So guys, from Wednesday, we are going to start our batch and we'll be covering all these 3 topics in geography: Indian geography, physical geography, and human geography. Since there is a special mention of geography in the syllabus, so guys, we cannot afford to leave this subject. That's why I'm starting with geography. My first subject that I'll be starting from Wednesday is geography, right? So guys, we'll start with the Indian geography part first. All the questions, all the major theory points we'll be covering. Physical features of the country, soils of the country, weather, climate, everything we'll be covering in this. Physical geography, we'll be dealing with the basic concepts like universe, Earth, solar system, then volcano, earthquakes. All these topics, they'll be intensively covered in physical geography, right? Human geography, we will be covering with the indexes part, right? We'll be covering the settlement part. We'll be covering the census part. So these all things are included in human geography. So guys, there are pretty high probability that from human geography, one question from census will definitely come. One question from indexes will definitely come, right? And certainly these questions will be aligned with the current affair part as well, right? Suppose they'll be asking you the rank of India in Human Development Index, right? So it is included both in current affair as well as geography. Second is, guys, history that we'll be covering. In history, I'll be covering very briefly ancient plus modern. So medieval history is not at all important. So almost no question was asked from medieval history, right? So we'll be focusing more on ancient and modern part. Ancient history, that is origin of human being, and followed by all the Mahajanpada movement, rise of Jainism, Buddhism, then rise of Mauryans, after Mauryans, Gupta period, after Gupta period. These all things will be covered in ancient history, right? Then we'll be starting with the revolt of arrival of Europeans, followed by revolt of 1857, followed by the formation of Congress in 1885, then various Indian Councils Act and various freedom struggle movement that has been carried out by our freedom fighters. We'll be covering all that portion in modern history, right? So these are most important topics that we need to cover. Then in third part, guys, we'll be covering rest of the static part. Static part includes polity. Static part includes polity, computer and economy. Basics of computer and economy, right? So in this section, I'll be covering all the three topics all together, right? Since the very basic questions have been asked from these topics, so we won't go very much in depth in these topics. We'll be covering all the important areas of polity, computer, and economy, right? Like basics of Indian Constitution, we'll be covering in polity. Basics of Indian Constitution. All right. In computers, we'll be covering the fundamental part, networking and viruses, these topics, memories. And economy, we'll be covering the latest budget plus important terms like what is the full form of FDI, what do you mean by GDP, these important terms, right? So guys, this will be our approach and we'll try to cover all these portion on time. Approximately you can take 45 to 50 days. We'll be completing this syllabus, and time to time I'll be dealing with the PYQs as well. I'll be covering one topic, then I'll be dealing with the PYQ of certain topic, then again next topic PYQ. So this approach I'll be taking so that you should have the clarity about the theory as well as what kind of questions you need to practice, right? So what are all thing that is needed from your side is you should be regular in the classes. Do not miss any class. Try to cover the syllabus on time and revise. Major thing in this exam is revision, guys. The more you revise, the more confident you will get in general studies. See, there is a very brief problem, very basic problem with the technical students that they are not very comfortable with general studies, right? Either you have that mindset that okay, I'll be covering these subjects in 15 days and or maybe 15 20 pages notes will help me out. But trust me, guys, since the competition is ruthless and we need to crack this exam, and public service commission exam is not easy anytime, so you had to keep yourself very thorough, and revision is the key. Understood? Sincerity plus revision. Study material, we will be providing all the study material. I mean, all the notes that I dictate in the class or I'll write in the class, I'll be sharing that notes. No extra book required. Okay, you do not need any extra study material about that. And we'll be starting soon our classes from Wednesday. Soon we'll be starting our class from Wednesday. All right. So guys, if you have any doubt, you can put your doubts in the chat box. I'll be taking your doubts regarding the exam. If you have any preconceived notions in your head regarding the exams, please do ask me. All right. Mode of language will be right now I'm dealing in English. It will be English. All right. So we'll be communicating in English. Notes will be in English, and timings of the class will be from 9:15 p.m. daily. Monday to Friday, if needed, then Saturday, Sunday as well. But Monday to Friday for sure, classes will be there. And practice questions I'll be taking on Saturdays and Sundays regularly as per your need. Plus, we'll have the regular sessions. We'll connect together regarding your progress. If you are facing any kind of difficulty, while in the batch, you can tell me at that session, right? Rest detail, contact Pankaj sir. He'll give you all the details about the batch and enrollments, and get your IDs and start your preparation as soon as possible, since the exam is very near, right? So guys, any doubt? I'm ready to take any doubt. All right. So guys, this is it for today. This was the orientation session about the exam and our approach and what should be the idealist thing that you should be following while preparing this exam, especially in general studies, right? All the respective faculties will give you a brief idea about their section as well. Correct? So guys, our batch is starting from Wednesday, and see you soon. We'll connect again. All right. Contact Pankaj sir for the batches. Thank you. Good night, everyone.